I own 16 or 17 cars, and the fact that I don't know exactly what number it is should tell you I have a massive problem. Behind me is my TDI Cup. It's extremely rare and a car that I said I would be buried in. So I sold it. If that doesn't make sense to you, it probably shouldn't. The problem is not that I don't love the car. The problem is I never stopped buying cars. I've spent my entire adult life buying and selling cars. I've had now around 160 cars, and it all started when I was much younger and I would have one daily driver and one car that I would modify, and none of it really got out of control until COVID. Once COVID hit and I started stacking, cars and not selling them and just kept buying and buying, it went from just a collection to really a hoard. A lot of it had to do with BMP tuning and DWS and buying cars to break into new markets, whether that was the Mark 7 GTI or a S550 Mustang at one point. None of the cars really, I'd be really surprised if a quarter of the cars that I've bought over my life I've ever made money on. Really breaking even is just the goal, and then you just continue modifying the next car and the next car and the next car. Modifying is really the goal at the end of the day because that's what I enjoy doing. The searching for the car, finding the car, modifying it really quickly, and then drop it like an old toy. So then why is the Cup such a big deal? Well, out of the 1,500 that Volkswagen produced, about 1,200 or so are now gone and 300-ish remain. This particular example is one of 7. One owner, 80,000 mile car in laser blue. It's absolutely the exact spec that I wanted. And when I found it, I vowed that I would never sell it. This is an entirely self-inflicted problem, but that doesn't really make it any easier. My overflow parking needed overflow parking, and for 16 or 17 cars, we now have cars stored in 4 locations across multiple cities. Each car is like a tab on your browser, where there's always something needed, whether it's maintenance or future mods or things that are in progress like the Mark II or the Mark 7. I have 13 battery tenders, multiple insurance policies, and the weight of all this is just so overbearing at this point that I don't even want to mess with cars anymore, because it's just becomes such this huge anxiety, this massive, basically procrastination station, where anytime something goes wrong with one of the cars, it's easier just to turn to the next car, leave that car for tomorrow's list of issues, and just keep going, right? And this is all obviously first world problems, but at the same time, the goal of having a collection and the goal of enjoying everything was always the end game for me. That's what I always wanted. I wanted a ton of different cars. I wanted to be able to, on a Monday, take one car, and then Friday for a meet, take a different car, and then go to a show outside of Texas with some other different car, right? And it was always to do that. But now that I've gotten to that point, it's really kind of a crappy situation to be in, and ultimately getting it to a more manageable, still first world problem, 5 or 6 cars is just so appealing to me. It seems more like the goal in reverse, right? The goal for so long was to climb this hill and attain what I wanted, and now the new goal is to get off that hill, at whatever cost, right? So at this point, you might be asking yourself, so then why cars? This obviously is causing you great conflict. And I have collected other things in the past, like cards and even books, bicycles, video games, anything you can think of. And they're a lot smaller and a lot easier to store than cars. But cars became my life. This is my profession. You have BMP around me. I started DWS on a boat and still had 3 cars. Even into my 20s, I was wearing clothes from high school because of the fact that I valued modifying cars over basic necessities like new underwear. So then why sell it? Well, the goal is to increase my mental bandwidth. And if I can start with the car that will hurt the most, then it'll make it that much easier to sell all the other cars I'm trying to get through. This car's new owner is in Canada, so the likelihood of me even getting this car back at a later date is about zero. So the goal is not to sell all of my cars and abandon all hope. I just need to get it to a more manageable number, which to me, I think will be around 5 or 6 cars. That way I can maintain the ones I have, modify and continue projects like the Mark 7 and the Mark 2, as well as have a daily to drive around town. The Cup was the first one. Now I have roughly 10 more to make a decision on. If you were downsizing and getting rid of some cars, what would be a deciding factor for you? Would it be rarity, sentimental value, or just the car you use the most?